It's tough.
Five, 7, 2, 5, 7, 1, 2.
And welcome everyone to the League of the Extraordinary Podcast Thanksgiving Special. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second year in a row we're doing this. And this is the host of this one, IBC, here with my other host and my family, mi familia from around the world. So we gonna start. Where are my New Yorkers at? Where's the East Coast? Where are my New Yorkers? That's right. Yep, I'm looking at you too. I know you give me the rock. I'm looking at you too. But yes, let me go ahead and introduce my fellow family members. Of course, this guy is Hollywood because he's Hollywood everywhere. He's on Turnbuckle Tavern. He is on Classic Match Classroom and the Titantron. This guy is everywhere. That's what he is. The young Hollywood himself, Mr. Hardworking. Yes, hardworking. That's what he is. Hardworking, Mr. Young Hollywood Anthony. How are you, brother?
Did someone say Hollywood?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Hold on.
Yeah. Fuck Hollywood.
That's right. I had to wait until we started to do this, but I am very much glad to be here. We might get a little Hollywood tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I will say that I'm very honored to be here with my fellow league members, and let's get down to business, folks.
Absolutely. And let me introduce my other New Yorker as well. This man, he's a brawler, especially backstage. That's why they're the backstage brawlers of all brawlers.
Yeah. What's up?
I have the people's champ, Mr. Randy Lewis from Backstage Brawl. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be back here, man. Like I tell you, man, I miss podcasting a lot. Hopefully I can get back to it real soon. But I'm glad I'm able to be here, and my audio's working this time around, so we can get started.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
No, you brought it up.
No,
it's over.
No.
You got witnesses. You brought it up.
No. It's okay, because listen, man. Last time, like for me, man, like I'm a perfectionist at heart, so it's just like, man, like this time I'm like, okay, audio's good. We can get it right. Be good. So I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you very much. What about Philly people at, though? Where are my Philly people at? That's right. I have them here.
You already know.
I already know. But let me go ahead and introduce my Philly people. Remember, it's not just the pros, not the indies. It's everywhere you go. You have to tune in and watch or listen to, of course, Rewind Wrestling Radio, and that is my brother Ted, the host of Rewind Wrestling Radio. How are you, my brother?
Oh, my friend, I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me back, even though all I do is throw your show off the rails every goddamn time I'm on it. But, but I'm happy to be here with y'all, and things are going awesome. Can't complain one bit. Want to show a lot of love to the League fam, because the League fam has been very supportive of us, and with your help, we reached over 400 subscribers this past month. So
that's right.
We are,
Wow.
we owe that to the support of the fam. So thank y'all.
Thank you, man, for being part of the league and being family with us. And of course, I gotta say my last two families for last. My family members here. Of course, he is from the South because he's psycho. He's from Philly because he is the South Philly psycho himself. It's Dom.
That's right.
Wrestle.
Damn right. The one and only D-O-M.
That's right. The one D-O-M. And of course, She is the grandma of all grandmas of podcasting. She watches. She's our mother, actually, of podcasting.
That's too much. That's too much.
She gave birth. She
No,
gave
I'm gonna tell you.
He was passing, he was-
I'm gonna have to correct you here, Professor X. I apologize. She is the ninth wonder of the podcasting world.
There you go.
Don't treat
Bam.
her like a woman, and we damn sure don't treat her like a man.
Damn straight. Goddamn right.
I have Grandma Wendy. How
So what's up,
are
y'all? Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Straight out of cowboy country shit, you know, or cowboy shit country. Cowboy shit country.
One of them.
I'm a little deficit on sleep right now, so I'm like, I don't know. Hangman country page, you know, all
Word.
that.
That's why Wendy's president.
Things.
Well deserved title win for
Right,
that.
right.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So yes, we're here today for this Thanksgiving special, talking about three major topics that's going on here in 2021 in professional wrestling. Especially, let's start off with the first topic that I know we all are heartbroken and confused with all these fucking releases. We're like, what the fuck?
Mm.
But we're not going to talk about the
confused.
releases. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. But the major question is, so I'll start off with Wendy. So I'll ask you, and then we'll go from
Ask
there.
away.
All right. Now that with WWE doing all these major cuts, should this be the end of the brand split? Since the roster is deeply cut, should be the end of the brand split?
I think so, yes. I think there should be a reassessment of the size of the roster and how much of that talent gets used on TV. If it's less than a certain amount, I'm shit with numbers, so I'm not going to guess percentage. But if it's less than a certain amount, then yeah, just fuck the brand split, be done with it, and just make it all one thing as it once was. There's no point in maintaining a brand split if you don't have enough people to carry that concept on. And I think it definitely should be, and even if it's done temporarily, for now, until further notice, it should be done away with. Until they rebuild, until they have enough NXT talent that's built up to be put onto the main roster and not fucked over. And then they're able to have a solid enough group of people to do a brand split. Just be done with it for now.
Okay. Young Anthony.
I mean, the brand split should have ended like years ago, but that's besides the point. If there's ever a time to do it, I would say now is the time to do it, because I'm more interested in who is going to get released after Survivor Series, because by the time we're recording this, it still hasn't happened yet. But like, I'm wondering, like, with everything that's going to happen at the show, who is going to get, kind of the short end of the stick and get released after that. So I think that's really interesting. You come off one of your big four pay-per-views, and who's going to get released after. I'm not in support of the releases, obviously. Like, I don't think anyone really is. However, I am in support of a smaller roster, and that's truly due to the fact that I think, when there was a point where they had over 200 guys employed, guys and girls, obviously, just wrestlers in general employed. And that's across Raw, SmackDown, NXT, UK, 205, all of that, like close to 200 wrestlers. With that, a lot of guys get lost in the shuffle. So when you shorten that roster, you make sure that your main people get noticed. Whereas, you have all these people, and a lot of talent within that roster, that you're bound to start seeing guys, like Aleister Black and Andrade, guys who should be at the top, slowly go back down to the bottom, and not rightfully so. So I wouldn't say that it's the best thing, obviously not the best thing in the world that so many cuts are happening this year alone, let alone last year as well. But I will say that I think a shorter or smaller roster is in WWE's favor. And I think with that being said, the brand split should end so that there's even more room for their stars to shine. And, that you don't want the issue of having too many, like a short amount of guys on one show, short amount of guys on the other. Just combine them, have one title. It's so easy. And they just have to overcomplicate it for no reason.
That's true.
That's true.
Mm.
All right, Ted. Talk to me.
From the mouth of babies, you know?
Damn.
Sorry.
Hollywood, I want it on the record that I was not the one to come at your throat first.
No, that was me.
It was Dom. You know?
Blame it on the psycho, always.
He's gonna take full credit.
So all right.
Guilty.
Let's talk about some ancient history here first, you know, from before Hollywood was even fucking alive. So 2000
So last week.
2001.
So
Y'all are
2001 happens, right? And WWE purchases WCW, right?
Mhm.
And they purchase the tape library and absorb a lot of contracts from ECW.
Mhm.
So WWE is the only show in town, and it's got 3 fucking rosters of people that it's employing, and everyone's complaining about the one thing that they care about at that level, professional wrestling. Can anyone in the class tell me what that is? What's the one thing they all give a fuck about?
TV time?
TV time. Thank you, Psycho. Okay.
You
They
know.
all want some goddamn TV time, and nobody's getting it, right? Because at that point in history, you've got Austin, you've got Trips, you've got Jericho, you've got The Rock, you've got Kurt Angle, you've got Undertaker, you've got Kane, you've got, you know, from the WCW people that got brought in, you got Booker T, you know, you got Heyman, you got Shane O'Mac, you got Vinnie Mac, you got Stephanie Mac, you know.
There's a lot of Macs.
You even had Linda. Jesus.
Yeah, like, you know.
Yeah,
Like Linda was in on it too.
Right. So at the end of the day, they didn't do anything wrong. Well, they did a lot of shit wrong with how they ended the booking of a lot of shit with the invasion and all that kind of stuff. We're not talking about the invasion though, right? We're talking about moving forward after that. And then when the brand extension happened, you also had the Dudleys, you had the NWO, you had Shawn Michaels was back, right? Like all these motherfuckers on screen, and none of these undercard guys were getting time, right? So the brand extension made a whole lot of goddamn sense. It wasn't overcomplicated for no reason. The belt system is overcomplicated for no fucking reason, but the brand extension was not. Okay. And at the beginning, the brand extension was good because people stayed on the same show. Time cared about the fact that they were invested in the brand. Undertaker, he was a SmackDown motherfucker. He was not on Raw.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He was a SmackDown guy. Triple H, he was on Raw. He didn't want to work Tuesday nights. He wanted to work Monday nights, so he stayed on Raw. You know,
Facts.
So you know, there was more invested in it, right? So let's fast forward. Hollywood just told us we had over 200 people employed, right, as wrestlers on these shows. If the brand extension hadn't been there, how many of them would have gotten TV time at all?
True.
And the answer is a big old motherfucking 0. Okay. Andrade would have never made it on TV. Never. You know why? Because his ass don't put people in seats. All right. Aleister Black, he didn't put people in seats. He can work like hell. He can work like crazy. Okay. So can Andrade. So can Pac. Okay. All these dudes that have been released. Okay. Matt Cardona. Okay. John Morrison. You could go down that whole list, and there's probably not one person on that list that can't wrestle, that can't go out there and entertain the shit out of you. But are they putting butts in seats? The answer is no. Are they selling merch? One person that's been released was selling merch, and his name was Bray Wyatt. And from what we all understand now, months after the fact, he was being a dick backstage because he didn't like the way shit was going. And you know what? I don't blame him, because the creative has been shit, right? I would be a dick about it too. I'm a dick just sitting here talking on this podcast right now. But you know,
aren't we all?
But at the end of the day, those dudes would not have gotten TV time. Those girls would not have gotten TV time, right? And to be honest with you, I'm okay with them getting let go, because there are more options for them now to go work and go get on TV. They can go to Impact and be seen by a reasonable audience. They can go to AEW and be seen by a reasonable audience. There's options for them. There's options for them. And we can see anything we want on the fucking internet. And now indie shows are fucking Monday Night Raw because we can all fucking watch it on YouTube. Okay. So should the brand extension end? I'm going to come back. I am going to answer your question now, brother. I promise. I need to go on my rant. Okay. But should the brand extension end? No, the brand extension shouldn't end because they still got so many fucking people under contract. Should the title picture be tightened up? Absolutely. They should be unifying the tag team titles. They should be unifying the women's titles. They should be unifying the heavyweight men's titles, and they should make the mid card title the big. This is the SmackDown title. This is the Raw title, and that's the motherfucking bottom line.
Someone's been listening. Someone listened to the Bella Bell episode back in July. Because that's exactly what me and Tyler was talking about.
Yeah, we've talked about it too.
Yeah, because like to answer the question, should the brand extension? Listen,
Listen, fan you, but it ain't gonna help.
as it pertains to the question, I want to be very clear because I think about it is it's crazy because T was on the same wavelength that I was going with in terms of the amount that they had on the roster. Thing about it is like WWE basically hoarded all this talent for themselves because at the time they were the only show in town, the only major show in town that would give you the money. Not saying the fact that a lot of it was on them because it was. They're the only show in town, and now with a company like AEW now branching and opening up, you can funnel more talent over there so they can get exposed. Not the fact that there was a lot of people that that were legit people that could put asses to seats, but obviously they couldn't get this TV time, and of course a lot of red tape backstage. But we're not, we'll be here, all night talking about it.
That's
but
a lot of editing for Ivan. It's a lot of editing for Ivan.
A lot.
and I don't want Ivan to kill me. When we used to record, I didn't want my brother to kill me because sometimes we used to go over. WWE with these releases, as crazy as it sounds, they know what they're doing in a way because it's like they've been in their own way, they've always kind of followed the trend of their own time in a sense. Case in point, you reference back 2001 when they had to, at that model, their model at that time until recently was to hoard as much talent and try to get, find your diamond in the rough that you can push. Right? That's not the case anymore because now AEW is, starting to, their foot's planted in the sand. 1993 was the end of the golden era in wrestling between the early 84 to 93, that era that basically gave Flair, Steamboat, Hogan, Savage, you know the names.
Yeah.
They were transitioning from those guys to smaller, more athletic guys in the WWE, which had those guys go where? To an alternative, which at the time was WCW, which, led into the Monday Night Wars. It's basically that situation over again. And I'm not saying the fact that they're basically going in the same direction and doing it the same way. It's 2021. It's not 1993 anymore. Also, you have to understand this was right after the steroid trial where Vince legit beat a grand jury, which no one seems to talk enough about it, about that aspect. Beat a grand jury. That's balls of steel.
You seen that Dark Side of the Ring episode yet?
My dude paid out millions to each of those jurors. Let's be real for just a
that's
millions and millions.
That's balls. That's still balls of steel to walk out that court scot free.
Right.
So,
but yeah, but as time, the WWE tried to do it again in 2016 with with the youth movement. Triple H tried to do a little bit of it in NXT. Now, as much as we don't like their moves, they're essentially trying to kind of reinvent the wheel in 2021 for them because they've been going away for so long with just hoarding talent, trying to find that one guy. Now in your company, you have that one guy in Roman. Now it's surrounding him with a good collection of talent. The brand split does need to end because now your roster is smaller. And because your roster is smaller, it could be more intimate in terms of how you're able to get certain people TV time. There's a lot of good youth in NXT 2.0 that you can basically funnel into, when they're ready, not when Vince wants them there. Like when they're ready, you can put them onto the main roster and have them flourish because they're in your system. And the thing about it is WWE's always been great with development, but they were terrible in actually allowing them to flourish on TV if they're not their own creation.
Good point.
The reason why a lot of those signings from the indie scene didn't work between 2006 until now is the reason because they were not WWE's creation. They didn't create, CM Punk. They didn't create Tommy End. They didn't create El Idolo and Andrade. They didn't create those guys. They came in, they were household names elsewhere, but they didn't put asses to seats. People like Sheamus, the reason why he's reliable because he was a WWE creation, but at some point you build that trust. And sure, there's certain people that are exceptions to the rule, like AJ Styles and other guys like Finn Balor and some and others that are exceptions to the rule. But it's like in this situation, in terms of like starting over and rebuilding, WWE has never had a rebuilding moment since the Attitude Era.
Okay.
It's their first legit attempt at a fresh reset. And as bad as it seems, we've seen this before. It's just not as publicized with social media. Because back in the day, you had to find it through like, the old, magazines, used to pick up at the pharmacy back in the days or word of mouth. And as a kid, you kind of question, why is this guy in WCW? Or what's Eastern Championship Wrestling in 1993?
I knew that.
I knew that.
Remember, I'm born in 92, so it's like, this is
as a teenager, I knew.
You were born in 92.
Yeah, I'm born in 92, so my brother was born in 85, so it's like, what's Eastern Championship Wrestling? And how does it develop into that to ECW? And then, like nowadays, because like what the indies served as in the 2000s, after the Attitude Era and after WCW was bought, what they served as like a small hub of what the territories used to be. Like they kept the essences of it, even till today. Like you feel that territory situation, but from an independent situation, is more free flowing, and they don't have the kind of like business practices of the what they did in the 80s and the 70s. They are more independently owned, obviously more low budget, but at the same time, it's theirs. So it's more like of a grassroots situation. And then when AEW came along, it's a collection of everything that they've been through with that within the grassroots organization, put it together, and now you put it on TV. So now that people from that cloth are excelling on TV with their style because they put their money where their mouth was. However, with all these releases, not everybody can go to AEW because you're going to run the same risk of what happened with WWE over the last 20 years. So that's the caveat of it. But the long answer short, WWE does need to end the brand split because now you have enough that can balance on both rosters. Now it gives you enough time to scale back, which they have done. And I'm surprised because we dropped the episode in July for Bell to Bell episode. Should they reduce the pay-per-view schedule? 2022, their schedule was reduced. And they're smart in how they're pacing themselves. I'm not sure if the hell they're listening to us, but hey, I don't want to toot my own horn for that, but I'm just saying, maybe that's something that's been in the works for them for a long time.
Vince is in his car going, these guys are fucking brilliant. It's such good shit.
This is such good shit.
I'm pretty sure Vince, they have some people that do listen from WWE. So as long as you see a tag that says hashtag WWE, one of the motherfuckers is listening.
No, I've said that too.
So for them to do that, it tells you that they're in the right direction. But yeah, it's a business. It's a fucked up business. It's almost fucked up as the music industry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are going to land on their feet, and there's always going to be a demand for them because they're household names. And then because your name is attached to WWE, you're the hottest commodity because you're with the biggest company. And I talked to Stan from Talk of Champions. We had a private conversation, as well as Kiki, my girl, and E. We all had separate conversations, at separate times. The fact that we need a third brand, we needed a third, legit, entity that can rival.
That was NXT.
It was NXT. It was supposed to be.
It fucking killed it.
You killed it. You killed it, and with it went Triple H's heart because he had to get heart surgery.
Right.
Because to be honest, I would be remiss if most of that stress did not come with Vince legit tearing everything down the last 3 years of NXT. It was systematic. It wasn't the fact that, and I knew it was coming soon when Triple H did the flex by renaming it the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Yeah.
Because because Capital Wrestling was WWE's original name before they changed it to the World.
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
Vince Senior's idea. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was a big fuck you to Vince. It was like, oh, okay, what's up, Nick? Let me, it's like, yo, your cousins, the Cons, they do great in Jacksonville. Come over here, man. Let's do some business. We're gonna fuck Triple H's shit up.
And boy, did they ever.
They did ever.
Yeah.
Systematically over, like, this is not one fell swoop. The pandemic
No.
expedited it. This
No.
was systematic.
But at this point, NXT 2.0 might as well just be called Raw Light.
Yeah, pretty
Man,
much.
that should have been your Raw Underground, pretty much, right there.
Yeah, pretty
Raw
much.
Light.
pretty much.
And by the way,
Pretty
guys,
much.
I just counted, and there's approximately still 160 talents under contract under the Superstars column of WWE.com.
Wow.
Damn.
Damn.
After
Which-
all these cuts.
Still, right?
Which means there will be more.
There'll be more coming.
Yeah. What do you think the number
so
is that they're
currently,
trying to
how
get
many-
it down to?
If you have it like around 100, it's a healthy number.
I
but
was going to say 100.
Yeah.
With 3 brands, 100's a healthy number.
you have to keep not even about the 3 brands at this point. It's about if you're able to keep it to a relative number, a good majority of them have to be developmental that you have to keep down at NXT to legit develop. And to those that are you have good star potential that you bring on the main roster, you can basically switch and mix and match and bring them to go send them back so they can get more training, and when they're fully ready to make an impact, you can basically make that splash.
Yeah, it worked so well for Finn Balor, didn't it?
To be honest, it has. To be honest, like he went back down.
Well, whoever was
Came
in
back
charge of
as
it right
himself.
now.
He
Yeah.
came back with all the da-da-da-da, and then he lost, and then he got the demon gig, and then he lost that. He came back as the exact same thing when he was something different in NXT. Therein lies one of your problems.
Yeah,
You can develop whatever the fuck you want, but when you put it on TV, you're the same old thing, or you went from being NXT's Undertaker to some dude in a demolition mask. You can develop it all you want, but when you bring it up, what do you end up doing?
Well, that's kind of the point of like NXT 2.0 that I'm picking up on, is that you weren't really developing talent when you were in NXT from 2014 to 2019, which sure we all love, but the point of NXT is to be your developmental territory. So I mean,
but even with 2.0, they fast tracked and developed Von Wagner so he could stand next to Adam Pearce in a black.
Von Wagner sucks. Like that's just like
That's there's your example of 2.0. Von Wagner went from a championship match to standing next to Adam Pearce.
And
How much development do you need to do this? I'm doing it right now. I ain't get shit.
Hey, you know what? You know what though? You didn't look as good as him. Sorry, bro. I mean, I'm just.
I blame.
Okay.
you're not
I
Andrew, right?
have a theory for all this. Half of this shit would not have happened if you fired Kevin Dunn a long time ago.
I've been saying that
Facts.
forever. Pray
Facts.
Because the thing about it is, from CM Punk's departure to Cody's departure to a lot of these people's departure, whether they were fired or future endeavored or part of mascots, a lot of the problem is that beaver tooth bug face dude in the production.
Bugs Bunny looking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because
Say it.
he's the kind of person, because the thing about it is, and it dawned on me why a lot of people say when they go to Vince himself, sometimes Vince's like, well, I never got that message from people beneath me.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Dunn is usually the gatekeeper.
Johnny Ace too. Don't you guys remember like early on in the pandemic when there was that the news
People
that Johnny
power.
Ace, people power.
People power,
That he was
people power.
that there was news like early on in the pandemic that they put him back as the talent relations guy, and then all of the releases started happening. That's just that's that connection that I drew for the longest
And the worst part about it is Johnny Ace is the reason why The Rock never came back for 7 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that you allowed him to stay on the company. Now listen, this is the Dwayne The Rock Johnson that helped save your company from WCW whipping your ass for what, 86 straight weeks on TV?
83.
Mhm. Oh yes, 83, 80 something.
It's in the 80s, and they've been you've been whipping that. They was whipping your ass, and then it took one night when Mankind beat Rock for the WWF Championship at the time to overtake them fully, and then not look back.
Let's be real. It took one spoiler alert. WCW did that to themselves.
Yeah,
outside the Poker Doom and stuff like that, there's a lot of shit that basically sunk WCW in the water.
Yeah.
That did them no favors. You allow that person to make you the most money at that point in time, help you go public, and triple your money, and you don't renew his contract. Why? And there were times he wanted to come back. Like from what I heard, he was supposed to face Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. I'm like, if I could have gotten more out of Rock, we could have got Rock Cena much earlier.
That would have been so good. Mysterio and Rock.
And I would have been like to this day, like if I ever seen John Laurinaitis in the street, I don't care if he's with the Bella's mom, I'm still duffing the motherfucker.
I think we all would right here. I think all of us would. Hell yeah.
Because Rock was candid. Like, yo, he was depressed during that time. That 2-year period, he ended up losing his marriage because, like, yo, he thought he had a cushion at WWE after all he fucking did. And meanwhile, Hollywood didn't even want him to lose all that weight. So he thought WWE was a safe haven. But John Laurinaitis was like, nah, I ain't giving you a contract. So when Vince finally found out, like, oh, this is what's been happening. Oh, John, you out. Like this, like, bruh. I knew this kid motherfucker longer than I knew you. Yeah. I knew his grandfather, his daddy.
Right. I knew his whole family.
Yeah,
I knew his whole family. Like I'm scared of his whole family. Like you did that to him? Nah, man. But
you lived. Like, how'd that happen?
See, listen. The fact that freaking the Tonga kid didn't come out and chop his throat at him and Kevin Dunn at the same time, he's lucky. But it's coming, karma's a bitch and it's coming. Like, like the fact that he's the same guy that says, I don't get Becky Lynch, but yet you pushed the Bella Twins and the crappy butterfly title.
I wonder why he pushed the Bella Twins.
You can look, but you can't touch. Well, he married the mother, so there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if it walks like a dove.
Hall of Famers, cousin nepotism.
Pretty much, no. I'm not gonna sit here and bash the Bella Twins in terms of for being women. I am gonna bash the fact that in terms of how they got there, it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, no. It has nothing to do with being a woman. It's just they happen to be in that situation, and all of a sudden,
John Laurinaitis pushed for them to be in precarious situations. One, dating John Cena, which was advantageous for one, and one married the American Dragon, who in my estimation is now a heel in AEW. That's neither here nor there.
Tom, I really want to hear your final thoughts about that first question that I had.
All right.
By the way, we're an hour in. We've only talked about one question, just so we're
just so you know.
Are we?
Yeah, I feel at this point the brand split should be done with, and I agree with a lot of what these guys said, and the releases themselves have just been fucking disgusting. I don't even want to get my head wrapped around that right now because we've already spent enough time on this. But the real reason I think the brand split should end and the title should be unified is, as I kind of alluded to, WWE has problems. They have problems with creative. They have problems with development. They have problems outside of their own releases and their own whatever the fuck you want to call it. And in order to do something about it, one, you got to simplify things, and two, you got to start taking the power away from the old man, because Vince is still operating on like 90s software. That shit is obsolete. Like his brain is on
90s software.
His brain is on dial-up in a high-speed age. He is still throwing these guys out the door like he did when he was battling WCW, because Ted Turner was snatching them all up. Didn't matter what. He'd spend anything he needed to spend to get them, and he basically spent his way right out of the Monday Night War. And he thinks Tony Khan is going to do that. But out of the, God, I don't know, like 100 and so people he's released, Tony Khan has maybe signed 20. Back in the WCW days, Ted Turner had more control over that promotion than anyone. Their pay-per-view money went to Turner. He had the final say in who got signed and who didn't. That is not the way it works today with AEW, but Vince still believes that it does. He even said it in interviews. AEW seems to want to funnel our talent. Maybe we'll give them a few more, but it's not working that way. But he can't see that. So you got to find a way to take a little power out of this man's hands, and you got to find a way to simplify things so that you can kind of grow, and then maybe later down the line say, okay, now we're going to do the brand split. I don't know if 3 brands will ever work for them. It didn't work with ECW. It worked with NXT till Vince killed it, but they never really pushed NXT as a full-fledged third brand. When they did, it worked, but it happened for a few months, a couple of years ago, leading into Survivor Series. Then it was just, okay, we're done.
Yeah, agreed.
So I really think they need to scale back and simplify and actually use their creative instead of just relying on whatever the fuck the old man says and going by his things and having a bunch of yes men like Nick Khan and Johnny Ace and Bruce.
Oh, Ace is gone, and I don't know. Ace got released. He's gone.
He's gone. Oh wow.
Yeah. He was part of that mass release. I think the second one. He was part of the second.
I missed that completely.
No, Johnny Ace.
No.
No,
Yeah,
Johnny Ace is John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis.
Yeah, he's still there.
He's
No, he's gone.
No, he's not.
I
He's
thought
still
he was
there.
No, he's not.
No,
He's the one cutting everyone.
he's the one firing people. He's the one sending the email. Like,
Yeah.
Hold up. Wendy is looking this up. I can see it already.
yeah, he's doing everything.
She's our official stat girl, Wendy.
They just said the other day that the email that Johnny Ace sent to everyone said budget cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Adam Cole brought it up in his interview. He said, Johnny Ace called me one day.
No. I remember. No, I know that he was still there for that, but I think he was released recently.
No, he's still there. He just did the cuts.
Unless he fired himself, hopefully.
Even if he's gone, which I don't think that he is.
Email.
But even if he is gone, which I don't think that he is,
Mhm.
they have too many yes men around Vince. They have too many things going on. They're operating in an era that's long gone, and they think it's going to work today, and it don't. See, he's still there. Bunch of yes men. Just
yeah,
whatever
he's
you
still
want,
there.
Vince. Should I kiss the left cheek first or the right cheek? Like the Kiss My Ass Club still exists. It just doesn't happen in the middle of the ring. It's back in Gorilla. Johnny Ace, and Bruce
I don't think
Pritchard,
he
and all of them are
just-
lining up.
I agree.
Can you picture Vince McMahon's almost 80-year-old ass in a G-string with Johnny Ace on the cheek? Because that's what's happening.
I'm pretty sure
And-
Johnny Ace is doing more than just kissing ass at this point.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. We don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
And it's
He's pulling
you know
Sean.
it
Shawn
sucks for the talent that they don't really give a chance to. Like guys from Hit Row got maybe 3 weeks.
That pissed me off. I'm not
That
gonna.
pissed me off too, bro. I love Hit Row.
That
Love
that
it.
pissed, that
everybody
pissed me
off.
off. That pissed me off not because of the fact that there were talented in the third. One, they brought him up too soon because I felt like they could have been a huge part of NXT 2.0.
They were just becoming that.
Yeah.
Two,
Like Swerve was North American champ. You know, they were just getting a foothold, and then boom, heading to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Two, I like the chemistry between him and Legado del Fantasma, and I like the fact I hated the fact
They
that
were great.
quickly.
Yeah.
Like you could have built on that because they were veterans enough in NXT to build it at least for another couple years. Like that's the whole part of fucking development. But Vince wants shiny toys. Like, oh, that looks good. I want it. And when it's on the main roster, it's like
He's
oh,
a
I don't-
spoiled kid, man. He's like, I want that. It's shiny. It's new. And then he gets it, and he's like, I don't want it no more. 3 weeks later, get rid of it. Because they became officially a part of the roster on October 22nd after Crown Jewel. We are now sitting here not a month later, and they've been gone for a few days.
Yeah.
You know,
It's horrible.
when you brought somebody up that you supposedly developed in 3 weeks, whether they're going to work or not, and how do you get them to work when you got them in a rap angle with Jinder fucking Mahal? There's your problems. It's not who you're releasing. It's not. It's the way you. It's the way you do things. And if you scale back and simplify it a little bit, and maybe take some of the decision making on creative out of Vince McMahon's hands, you could save this. But if you don't, you're gonna have a lot of people just tuning the fuck out most of the week. I know I do. I maybe go back on a Saturday and watch SmackDown with my son because he enjoys it. Outside of that, I skip Raw. I gave NXT 2.0 a chance and I went, this is Raw Light. I'm done. I'm still a black and gold guy. You can take all these colors, turn that shit sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass because I don't want none of it.
The moment like NXT died was when the article came out saying Vince and Kevin Dunn were going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Triple H is going to.
That is the wrong NXT takeover, y'all.
The moment that decision was made.
I joked about it. I was like, Triple H is going to have a coronary when he sees this. And he ended up, unfortunately having that situation. I was like, poor Shawn Michaels, because like Shawn Michaels actually left San Antonio to come and teach. And he's kind of become like a dusty kind of figure down there where everybody loves him and he's a good coach down there.
And they did.
And he's been holding down the fort as much as he can. I'm like, now more than ever, it's time for like him and Shane to put their bullshit aside because he's been fucking Stephanie for God knows how long to buy the fucking company. Yes. It's about time to put their ego aside and say, yo, bro, now you see how he treats me with my good ideas. Let's partner up together. And if we can't do it, I don't mind going to AEW.
I know it's been brought up. I know it's been brought up on our show at On Circle of Debate, but I think it's time for Triple H to look into to buying ROH.
Yes.
He has the money.
He's got the money. There's a bunch of his guys out there that have been released, just waiting for a new home, and he could just be like, "Come on over here."
Because I think Trips bought Evolve, if I remember correctly. He bought Evolve last year.
Somebody at WWE did. I don't know if it was Trips.
WWE bought Evolve, but all right, I want to move on to the next subject.
Please.
All right, now topic number 2. This is interesting because I really want to know because we're fans. We watch the product. So question number 2 is, what is the one thing that all promotions is missing in their product? So I'll take it to you, Wendy. I'll go to you, back to you. What is the one thing that all promotions are missing?
I think it's hard for me, at least, to pinpoint just one exact thing. It feels like every promotion, it's all depending on a case-by-case basis. I mean, WWE, for example, since we've been going on this rant about them, there's a disconnect between leadership and the fans. They say they listen to the fans, but they really don't, honestly. And like I said, it all depends on a case-by-case basis. And sometimes there's more going on behind the scenes than we know. I mean, for example, ROH, what's missing is money and fans. Yeah, but that's something that, behind the scenes, we don't know. Maybe there was a complete mismanagement of money. Maybe somebody pocketed more than they should have. We don't know. We don't know what happened there,
They gave Marty Skrull too much.
Those custom umbrellas are expensive, okay? But yeah,
damn it, villain.
It's all on a case by case. Like every promotion has their thing that they need to work on. And it's something that maybe it's out of their control or something they are working on. But to pinpoint that exact one thing for me, not easy. I don't know. I can't say exactly what it is.
Okay. All right, see, understanding. Young Anthony.
Yeah, no, I got to agree with Wendy. Like, it's hard to really say like one thing that everyone is lacking, because every wrestling company is different. Like, you could draw comparisons to everyone, but like at the end of the day, everyone has a different style, everyone has a different fan base, different vibe all around. But like, I was thinking a lot about this question, and the one thing that I could come to a conclusion on, and something that I can kind of agree with, is the women's division in every company, with the exception of maybe Impact. I think Impact does it well. However, Impact is running into an issue that they now, in alignment with AEW, and with all their talent being taken away, now you're starting to see a lot of other people leaving Impact, like Taya and Kira Hogan, all different names who really, when Impact was at their women's division peak at around during the pandemic, not like whole company wise, but like in recent memory at their peak, now you're starting to see a lot of those talent leave. So sure, Impact still has one of the best women's divisions going right now, but for how long? And I think these releases, not to go back on the other topic, but I think that will help them in that they're going to bring back Taya Valkyrie, and they'll bring in, different names like maybe Ember Moon and a lot of other people. But, looking at like the major promotions, WWE, what else could you say about their women's division? Sure, they've gotten a little better as time has gone on, but I mean, not really. If anything, they're starting to get worse. AEW has been talked about for so long about their women's division. One match per show isn't going to cut it. And to give the excuse of one match on the buy-in to count as 2 matches still isn't going to cut it. So they really need to start picking it up there. ROH was doing stuff with their women's division, but like obviously things happen. Plus, I don't really watch ROH that much, so I can't really say. But it was still not that heavy of a focus from what I was seeing. I can't even think of other companies right now that I can't say New Japan because they don't have a women's division. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
No.
so
MLW just started one.
yeah, I mean, I think it's heading in the right direction that those smaller companies like ROH and MLW, like they're starting to have their own women's division. So you got to really see where you go from here. But as far as like the big companies like WWE, AEW, NXT, I didn't even mention, but like they were okay. There were the debates that like they were having the best women's division in like 2019, 2020, that period. But like nowadays with NXT 2.0, they don't really have like that star power that they used to have. So you can't really say that anymore. So if you're thinking about like one common outlier for all the major companies, the women's division just needs to be enhanced all around. And everyone has the talent. And I think that's the funny part, is that you can make a case based on talent alone. Any of the major companies has the best women's roster, period. AEW, WWE, NXT, all of them have great Impact. All of them have great women. It's just how they're booking them, which is either poorly or not doing it at all. So I'm hoping that this next year, you really start to see that come to fruition. I really hope for AEW it does, because then it's just going to be another continuous problem. But that seems to be their one thing. Of course, WWE has many other problems. But if you're thinking about a link, I would say the women's division, hands down.
I agree
Okay.
100%.
I agree too.
I'm with you 100%. You preached it very well. Ted.
All right. So I hate to be the controversial guy, but
Talk about it, please. No, please talk.
Here we go.
Do it.
No. I want him to talk his shit.
I would say that this has been the ongoing problem since 2008 to 2010. And it's the fact that in professional wrestling as a whole, we lack the ability to get people over as a whole. Okay. In that, you can't satisfy wrestling fans anymore. Okay. Because I'm gonna point
A lot of division.
I'm gonna make a point. I'm
that's
gonna go back to something that the South Philly Psycho said a few minutes ago. Okay, Dom, you said that Vince McMahon was running dial up in a high
High-speed
time,
world.
right?
He's still doing Telegram.
Here's the problem. The majority of your wrestling fan base is asking for us to go back to the 90s, and Vince is trying to do it, and then everyone's bitching about the fact that he's going back to the 90s. You can't appease these motherfucking wrestling fans. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. There's not one fucking company that can do it. Think about it. AEW diehards. Oh, AEW is the fucking shit. It's the only good wrestling company. And then they hire these ex-WWE guys, and they come in, and now they're all bitching. Oh man, CM Punk's fighting fucking QT Marshall next week, which he is, by the way, which is fucking stupid.
Oh
But
my
it's-
God.
Very
CM Punk,
stupid.
we waited 8 years for CM Punk, 7.5 years for CM Punk to fucking come
And we're
back to
getting
wrestling,
QT
and he's
Marshall.
fucking working QT Marshall.
Ivan knows about my QT Marshall relationship. Ivan
So-
knows.
So listen to me. You can't
Fuck that
appease
guy.
wrestling fans. You can't appease them, because the one thing that they wanted for 7 years was CM Punk to come back to fucking professional wrestling and work every week on TV. Now he's doing it, and they're all fucking complaining about who he's working. You can't satisfy them. The ability to satisfy the wrestling fan and to get their workers over is the one thing missing across all professional wrestling. Period, with a T. God damn it.
Wow.
It's QT Marshall though.
Nah, that's true. That's
It's
QT
the
Marshall.
Pies. It's the cutie pies. all
The
right?
cutie pies.
Hey, Anthony, you know what I'm about to say about that?
Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody care.
Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody care about QT Marshall.
God, I haven't said that in a while.
Preach, my brother.
Ain't nobody care.
But to allude to the question, you guys made some excellent points, especially T. You made another great point. It's hard to follow you up with that, because you no, because seriously, the last 2 points, and especially when you went back in terms of the WCW situation, it all links together in terms of the whole landscape of professional wrestling. It's hard to move the needle when everyone in social media tries to make a point out of the smallest thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be appeased when you get one match that may seem great to some people, but it's mediocre to some because it's subjective. Wrestling is subjective. Like the only things that are concrete in combat sports is, definitively who's the alpha dog in certain people in certain sports. Like in MMA, you can look at John Bones Jones, or you can look at other Connor, or you can look at Khabib, or in boxing you can look at Tyson Fury, and in football you could get Tom Brady. Like in certain things in sports, you can definitively look at certain people like, oh, that hands above.
It's measurable. It's measurable.
Absolutely. But in professional wrestling, I'm going to use what D'Lo Brown said in the Jobber Tears interview during the pandemic. It's hard to make sense of professional wrestling when professional wrestling in itself don't make sense.
True.
And as fans, I think at times we trivialize how it's supposed to be, even from the inception of where wrestling used to be when you used to go visit the circus in the good old 1900s, when you're in parts of the UK or parts of America, you go have your circus, see your clowns, see your elephants and animals, and see your lady with the beard. But then you see this great extravagant thing for like 5 to 10 minutes. You see this strong man going against this, barbarian, and they're wrestling for a couple of minutes. Like, oh my God, is this fake or real? It's subjective. It's entertainment. It's for your entertainment, for our entertainment purposes. I think the one thing that, as professional wrestling fans, that I wish that can help all companies is the ability to stick with their guns in terms of what their message is, and not allow fans to have too much say into how they navigate their business, because at the end of the day, it is a business. And yeah, sure, we're all guilty of it as podcasters and as fans as well, because you want to see what's best for them, because that's where the frustration lies. But at the same time, if they're trying to implement something, no matter how, slow or fast in terms of how you want it, we have to let it play out. And I think at times, and my girlfriend gets on me with this a lot of time, because she's team AEW all the way. The fact that, I can't get away from that. So, is the fact that sometimes you gotta let things, and I've always said this on my podcast and whatnot. You have to let things cook. Too many times, like it's with music too. We're in the microwave generation.
Yep.
We're too busy trying to figure out, oh my God, that was a great match, I want more. And if I don't get more, It's like, this shit sucks. And everybody's trying to go online. Like after every AEW episode, no matter how good or trash it was, everybody's waiting for, I'm not going to say his name, Ivan, for the sake of this podcast.
No, don't say his name.
Everybody goes to that person's Twitter account to see what the ratings were for AEW and Raw. It's mind-boggling, bro. Like it's mind-boggling how many times like people get themselves in that situation, like get wrapped up in it. Sometimes you have to sit for your pleasure just to watch. That's what professional wrestling is supposed to do. That's what combat sports or like theater or drama is supposed to do. Take your mind out of it. Because the thing about it is, if we over contextualize professional wrestling, you're bound to over contextualize TV shows that you like. Like for instance, the Flash just came back with their crossover regular season for their season, this year. Somewhere along the line, there's someone like Pagey who's on YouTube. He might not trivialize it in terms of how the show was, but there's going to be someone that's going to be on YouTube or any social media stream that's going to criticize every frame of a 42-minute episode.
Right.
When it's supposed to be for your entertainment. Sure, there's going to be some bad writing, there's going to be some bad episodes, but at the same time, we have to give them the freedom to try. Now, with that said, there are things that every company major company at least, needs to fix. And that goes from New Japan, because in a lot of ways they're WWE in Japan. So they're going through the same shit that WWE in America is going through. And AAA, that whole situation is a mess as well.
Oh my God.
So it's not like
cartel money.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
What you
Don't
say,
sue
man?
us. We ain't got shit.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up, man? What you talking about? I'm not-
Because like I was that.
I ain't fucking with the cartel. I don't know about y'all.
No, because you know what's funny? Again, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she was like, she was like, yo, because like I said, Kenny's not gonna wrestle for like a good year, and he's like, no, he gonna wrestle Vikingo in December. If Cartel won the wrestle, then he gonna wrestle. I'm like, the dude could barely move in a promo post match with freaking Adam Page on Dynamite when he's about to say, I'm about to go away for a while. You guys hold it down. He could barely move.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's gonna wrestle against Vikingo? He might not even walk out the arena.
No, it's already canceled. They already canceled.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, if they were able to do it, you know, it's like, nah, if the cartel want Kenny, they're gonna get Kenny. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but he ain't gonna go. You swear he was gonna go anyways. No.
Yeah.
They'll make him go.
No, I'll jump the belt. I don't give a shit.
That's what rope and duct tape's for. They will make him go.
Make that motherfucker go. Like,
He'll be headed to Mexico in a trunk.
I'll give a quick example and then move on. For WWE, I would say what they have to focus on, the one thing that they have to focus on better is creativity and is the creative level and structure. They haven't been structured since the 90s. And people, and you made a point where you say Vince is still using dial-up. I think he's still That's how bad Vince McMahon is. You know, like this. Remember, he started doing this. He's been doing this for 51 years now.
Got the old Morse code system set up. Just beep, 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 beep.
That's exactly how.
We're releasing Bray Wyatt. Beep, 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 beep. Keith Lee is gone.
Yep.
He's not good shit.
Exactly. So you have to bring certain people up to speed, and it's like Vince is in his mid to late 70s now, so you're going to need someone to take over from, you know, and it's not going to be Stephanie, because if Stephanie runs that shit, I'm not saying it because she's a woman. I'm going to say it because, listen, there was a writer that used to work for WWE. He died a long time ago and said how shit she was in the writer's room. It hasn't changed in years. So why would it change now?
Okay, if it were Stephanie, it would have to be Triple H actually doing it, and her just in name or on paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Trips are bust at this point.
Steph's the figurehead, and Trips is like, I'm pretty sure, because there was many times where Shane and Trips tried to fire Kevin Dunn many times.
Yeah, they tried, but Vince was like,
keyword.
I need him.
Tried.
Like, just because that motherfucker saved, you know, tapes in the car from a burning car years ago doesn't mean he has to have a lifetime job of camera work. And over the last couple of years, his camera work has gone real shitty. Like,
it's whack.
Stuff like that. Like, how many camera cuts you need to see, you know, someone getting an RKO from? Now, it's a beautiful move, but like, yo, I see that shit from a WWE, like from the WWE 2009, where you was able to, like, you do the rewind when you get your finisher on. Like, this is not a video game. You have to do fucking camera angles and shit.
Nah.
Professional wrestling. Make that shit simple. Like,
so many cuts, your head will spin. Just blip, 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 blip.
Exactly.
In different angles, right? Like every different angle for the front, for the back.
Yeah. Fuck out of here with that shit. I just want to watch your.
That's just ridiculous, man. Like, yo, like the thing
WWE gonna fuck around and give me vertigo.
Like,
for
that's
real,
the
right? Yeah, for real.
And for AEW, and I'll close with this. And with AEW, what they have to improve on more so is the fact that they need a little bit of structure as well. Now, Tony Khan has gotten back some of that structure in terms of the decision making, but it has to be from top down, because now you're running the risk of basically overflooding yourself with cast-offs from not just WWE, but people from, you know, NWA, which you have signed, or Impacted, which just came over, and now with ROH basically going defunct as a company. So you want to make sure that with everything that you're doing moving forward has a purpose and it's structured, because if you don't do that, you run the risk of doing the same exact thing that WWE is doing in terms of like hoarding talent and not having them have TV time. So this is why a major third company is needed. Like, you need an ECW in the race, whether it be GCW, whether it be GCW or MLW to take that next step.
Well, right now, Game Changer's trying to get to that level. They're trying to.
They're trying.
Yeah, they're trying.
If they're able to, because think about it is like the music game. There's so much money out here to be made, and like there's other ways to get your name out there. If MLW is on Vice, there's an opportunity for someone else who can get a TV deal on a and Twitch has become such a huge tool as well. So it's like you have to use the times of modern times to help showcase talent better, not just using the big names or the whether it's overseas or domestic.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think hurt Impact a little bit was coming off of Twitch. Because not everybody gets access.
Absolutely.
I know I don't. So I used to be able to watch them on Twitch.
I
or like
disagree.
tune into Jessica Havoc's Twitch and watch it with her. That was kind of cool. But they took it completely off, and then they just said, well, you can go to our app, or eventually we're going to have a pay spot on our YouTube channel where you can catch it. And it's like, really?
what?
You don't
No,
make me
but-
pay for this shit?
Well, hold on, but hold on a second. It's $1.06 a month, right?
Oh, I didn't know
Which-
that. Okay.
It's $1.06 a month on YouTube to be able to watch Impact every week, and they have more subscribers now on YouTube than they ever did on Twitch. So I think that it was a smart move at the end of the day.
Okay, I was not aware of that fact. Thank you, Teddy.
It's a business at the end of the day. So what they're trying to do is trying to monetize a market where it's not tapped for them. So while WWE can basically get the Fox money and AEW has the Warner Brothers money, that's a lot. So you have to get in where you fit in.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. That's true.
You have to get in where you fit in. So now, like, you would hope that NWA would take the next step, but Billy Corgan is not managing that well. And then when you look at, Impact, Anthem's not even handling themselves well. So it's like you have to look at these young, fresh upstarts. Look at GCW, what Matt Cardona's done since he left WWE. Like the fact that Impact should have been frothing at the teeth to sign a guy like that, and what he's been able to do. To get at least some type of power. I think you need guys to basically branch off and legit market off of that are marketable in the indies. They're not just WWE, because now if you have that, you don't have to rely on AEW to basically say he has to go here, because now with Wyndham or Bray Wyatt, you're gonna say, well, you're gonna sign him on the third. Where is he gonna fit in terms of what AEW is trying to do for the next year or two?
Yeah.
Because now if you put him here, Miro's now ascending as a star. In comes Wyatt. What are you gonna do?
I think a lot
So
of
what you're
companies
saying
go
is there's too much
steering.
talent, not enough TV time.
Too
A
much
little
talent,
bit.
TV time. So
I think a
you
lot
have-
of promotions are wondering what to do with Wyndham exactly, because he's been free to sign with anyone for almost a month now, and still nowhere.
And this is what I have to say to the internet wrestling community about it.
Right?
Take a
You know,
Take a number.
take a number.
That was one of the things that I'm waiting to say. So I agree.
Well, take it away, Don.
Okay. I think there's at least, I can't speak for everybody. This is just my opinion from the mind of a psycho. So
what
there's
Dom is saying is he
two-
speaks for everybody, just so
Yeah.
we're clear.
Because Psycho TV.
yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Thank you, Teddy. Anywho, there's two things that I think need to change from a wrestling standpoint, and it was one of the reasons that I was a fan of it. I think Grandma Wendy was too. Lucha Underground was cool because it had an edge.
Yes.
It had an edge to it. People were dying. There was crazy shit going on. All this stuff. It was fun to watch.
Yes.
Wrestling has lost that edge. I'm not saying go back to the Attitude Era. I'm not saying, but mainstream wrestling, whether you look at AEW, WWE, whatever, has lost its edge. And to get some of that back means you're getting some of that fan base back. So I think that's one of the things that's missing in wrestling overall. Now, as far as wrestling fans are concerned, there are a lot of people who need to pull that pin. There are a lot of people complaining. There is a lot of division. There is a chunk of wrestling fans who are more in a civil war than in a war than these promotions are. Like AEW fanboys, WWE fanboys, just head to head, looking at those ratings every week, finding ways to bitch and complain and everything else. And it's hard to move a product forward, no matter who you are, when you have a fan base that is so fucking divided. Like even with other shows, there are people even in season 11 that say The Walking Dead shouldn't go away. And then there are people that say The Walking Dead should stay, and they're fighting amongst each other. But either way, The Walking Dead is just like, we're out. Sorry, guys. But you can't satisfy it. If you keep going, you won't get the numbers you got, because there are a bunch of your fans that say, we don't want to see any more of this. And if you stop, then you're going to disappoint people. So you can't win. The only way you win is to try to find something to bring those fans back. And to have a little bit of that edge and to make people feel what they felt in wrestling that maybe got them into it in the first place would do a lot to stop the division and just bring people back to the table and say like, okay, I'll watch this and that and the other, kind of like me. Because I want WWE to be successful. I want AEW to be competition. I want to see Impact back on an actual national network like they were back in the day. I want these other companies like MLW and NWA to grow and get on TV. I want to see smaller promotions, whether it be GSW or CCW, gain and grow and evolve, because I enjoy all this shit. But there are a lot of wrestling fans that don't. They're just, I'm this. Fill in the blank. Fill in your letters here. I'm a WWE guy. I'm an AEW guy. I'm an indie guy. It's all wrestling. I don't care what Vince calls it. It's still wrestling. Until he takes the second W out, it's still wrestling.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what, Dom? I'm gonna tag in on you for a second, brother, because you and I have talked about this.
Hot tag.
Okay. Good now, right? So at the end of the day, and when I started Rewind, I said this like every goddamn episode, and people complained about it, so I stopped saying it. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna bring it back. We're wrestling fans. Stop being a wrestling bitcher. Stop being a wrestling complainer and be a fucking wrestling fan. If you're not going to be a fan, stop fucking watching it.
Yes, God. Grandma is my witness. I say it at the end of every show. Enjoy wrestling. If it's not your cup of tea, let somebody else drink
Someone else enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
Like, people were complaining about death matches not being wrestling, and I'm like, I'm into death matches. I'll drink that shit up. You don't like it? Don't drink it. This is delicious. That sip had a little barbed wire, hurt my throat. I still liked it.
Such good shit.
You don't have to watch. If you don't like something, you don't gotta watch. If you don't want to see certain.
Didn't these people have a mama? Didn't they?
Somebody call his mama.
Didn't these people have a mama? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I tell this to my students all the damn time.
You know how many times I got slapped upside the head by my mama when she was saying that? Like, come on, didn't these people have somebody?
Still good.
No.
Yeah, thank God mom's not in arm's distance, because Wendy mama knocked me out. But
she still does.
Oh man, very valid points from all of you guys. It's the truth. It's very, very true. That's what's missing nowadays. That pro wrestling is not exposed nationally. Because these fucking networks they're not intrigued of it. They're not really like, okay, I don't want to, they're not really, I don't want it. Why should I, give my money to this product and maybe that product sucks? They'd rather just sell more sex than actually buying a damn product, like a professional wrestling product. And that's what we're on this modern era, unfortunately. Of course, Fox and Warner Brothers, they have the money because, they got it. They can get whatever they want. They have the variety. They have the diversity of whatever they want to put on to the audience. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that, how you mentioned, NWA, Impact. I wish even New Japan. For so many years, New Japan tried to be in the United States to be broadcast on national television, but was not allowed to. Because the market did not want that.
The best you would get was like the replays from a week or two before on Access. End of list.
Right.
I watch those religiously. I refuse to play. I refuse to pay for New Japan World, so I would just watch the replay on Access.
I know, me too. I was the same way. But now I have to buy enough for sure, especially with going on with them.
You and me both, bro.
Oh yeah. But right now, the modern era technology is now like YouTube, like you said, even Roku as well, even Hulu, Netflix. They're rising above national cable network and television. So, they're able to, pretty soon, cable's going to be over. TNT, all of that crap, they're going to go to an application now. Like, okay, just go on an app. That's all you're going to be able to watch that specific, channel. So it'll eventually go to
next thing you know, you're gonna hear like, tune into Amazon Prime for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Listen. Shit, you see what's going on with us in LA? no longer the Staples Center. Now it's a crypto.com.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Reno. Oh,
Dead ass.
Horrible.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
My jaw dropped when that happened. I'm like,
I wish a motherfucker would say I'd rename the Madison Square Garden the Crypto Center. Fuck out.
Right.
right? Imagine that
I
happens.
was mad enough in Philly when they renamed the first Union Center because what was better than having the FU Center in Philly?
Hey.
Like now it's the Wells Fargo Arena, whatever the fuck third hand. But when it was the FU Center, it just felt perfect.
I remember like right after the first Union, they named it the Wachovia Center. And then
Like, fuck out of here with that shit.
I like the Spectrum though. The Spectrum was cool.
The Spectrum,
was
deep.
dope.
The Spectrum was balls deep. I remember seeing a WCW house show at the Spectrum.
Mhm.
Fucking main event was Ric Flair versus DDP versus Chris Jericho in a triple threat for the championship. And DDP was the title holder. And I remember DDP rolling Ric Flair's ass up, and we all got a full show of fucking Space Mountain, man, because he rolled the tights all the way the fuck up.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Fans got a bang for their buck that night.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was a full moon.
My pops was with me. He was like, my pops was with me. He's like, damn, that's a lot of old man ass. Like,
But man, honestly, man, valid fucking points across the board, man. It all makes sense because that's what is missing now. And I wish nothing for the best for all the promotions and for the people that lost their jobs, because we like us as fans. Everybody's word, we love it. You don't necessarily have to like something you don't like. Well, then don't speak about it. Leave it alone. Let others.
If it ain't your cup of tea,
Yeah.
y'all.
And that's like good point. Ted, especially a good point, Doc, Randy, Anthony, Wendy, everybody. I love it. So all you fans that are listening, we're not here. We're professional wrestling fans.
Right?
That's what we are.
Professional wrestling fans, god damn it.
Thank you.
Semi-professional.
Sometimes.
Maybe not Tony. Maybe not Tony. You got to be over 21 to be a real wrestling fan. You know?
Young Anthony, one day he's in a hot
He's
Cole.
still in developmental. He's still in developmental.
That's right.
He's
Cole.
still in the.
Working on it.
I know I started it, but Ted came in with the kill shot. Just
he came. He listened. He had it all ready to go.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hey man, but he's Mr. Hollywood, man. He's running 3 podcasts for God's sake.
oh yeah,
Hey man, the boat.
You know,
Yeah,
we love,
He's just
The
gonna
lay is
respawn in the
all
next
right here.
podcast. You know, it's just is what it is. You know.
you know we love Tony. We're raising a good podcast host.
That's right.
I am beyond old enough to be that man's dad. We're raising a good podcast.
All right, now
God damn.
God damn. The final topic of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Wendy, what are you
Yes.
thankful for pro wrestling? What are you thankful in pro wrestling?
I'm thankful for the variety. There's so many promotions available on so many different scales, and there's so many different types of wrestling, and there's just so much happening that it's thrilling once again. Like there was a while, I know like maybe the early 2000s, like after the Attitude Era started to taper down, I just kind of lost interest. But it's coming back. You know, I'm returning to it, and it feels good to be home. And I'm also very, very grateful for how far women's wrestling has come. We're no longer subjected to being a joke. We're no longer just ass and tits in a bikini. We're legitimate wrestlers showing off our legitimate skills, earning titles that don't look like something from a Barbie section. What the fuck was that butterfly title?
Thank you.
So it's
Preach it.
Big.
it's come a long,
motherfucking
long way. It's come a long, long
Huge
way.
facts.
Women's wrestling has, and I'm just thankful for where it's at now, and I look forward to where it's going.
Awesome. Amen,
Yeah.
sister. Amen.
That's how I feel about
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Why do you have president, Devin? Keep saying it.
it.
Wendy and Psycho 2024.
Oh man, Hollywood.
Oh man, I'm thankful for a lot of things in wrestling, which is surprising since I've only really watched it like 10 years compared to everyone else here. But like, I would say one of the main things that I am very thankful for is the ability, or the, I guess, the honor that I've had of being able to see as much wrestling as I have live, because watching it on TV compared to watching it live is such a completely different atmosphere.
Oh my
And,
God,
like,
yes.
yeah, the fact that I've been able to say that I was in the building for moments like, you know, Ziggler cashing in Money in the Bank, when Rock returned like on a random Raw. You know, I was there for Bryan Danielson and Omega not too long ago. Like, the fact that I was able to say that I was there for those moments is just like crazy to think back of, like, how much of a privilege it is to be, you know, in the arena when you're like, you know, there's nothing like seeing Undertaker do his entrance live. Like, it's just such a different vibe.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, to kind of say that, it's like, it's cool to be able to like say that, sure, I'm a wrestling fan, but I was like a part of the experience. And another thing that I'm actually very thankful for is that although I'm still at a young age, I'm thankful that I was able to see a lot of the legends that like you guys grew up with still, you know, albeit not in their primes, but I was still able to kind of grow up with some of them to some degree, but also witness a lot of the legends, you know, in my time that I'm growing up with. Like, I still remember the first show that I ever watched was a Monday Night Raw in 2009 in November. I think it was the 16th. It was the main event. It was in Madison Square Garden, and the main event was Jericho and Big Show versus DX, Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker and John Cena. So like, that's the biggest main event that you could see at that time. So like, that kind of just puts into perspective like what I've been able to watch for so long. And like, you know, from that, growing up with a lot of the legends that I'm watching now, like, you know, your Roman Reigns and Kenny Omegas and Seth Rollins, like all these different names, that it's like kind of what you guys were like when you were watching Rock and Austin Flair. You know, I'm kind of seeing that with my group of guys that I'm watching nowadays. I think that's cool. Just the generational divide, that at the same time, it's all wrestling at the end of the day. I don't know, just the overall experience of wrestling, I would say I'm very thankful for.
Awesome. I love it. Good shit. Good shit. Love it. Damn, that's touching. Very touching.
I felt it.
I'm also very thankful.
Here.
I'm also very
I
thankful
felt
to
it.
say that I'm watching Jeff Hardy on TV. That's also something I'm very thankful for. And I'm thankful that I was able to see him in WWE, because I always get so mad at the fact that I started watching wrestling after he left in 2009. I was like, fuck, I just missed him. And then when he made his return, I was like, fuck, I get to see him. Yes. So,
You didn't miss much with those Impact days, boy. I'll tell you.
no, I watched the Impact days and I was like, fuck, I want to see him there though. So now I'm able to see him, and it's
I want to
cool
see Jeff Hardy drunk.
Victory Road.
And Sting sitting in a corner going,
I agree.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Just
Wait, hold on. I can make that better. Hold on.
Oh God, what's he doing?
What's he gonna do?
He's coming back with a Sting
Oh,
mask.
Jesus.
Damn, that's Wolfpack Sting too. That's
Wolfpack.
representing.
Oh yeah, that's Wolfpack's thing, brother.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
That
He
mask,
really
that mask
took us
is from
back.
that house show in the 90s, just so we're clear.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome. He's vintage.
Wow.
Vintage shit.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
That was,
So
that
is
was
this
indeed.
guy.
Oh, the Wolf. Yeah.
Hey.
Doom, 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 doom.
Best entrance in wrestling ever. Right?
I still have that
Oh,
theme
no,
on my
the Wolfpack.
Spotify. No lie.
Go for it, Ted.
So I'm gonna sound like this whole time I've been like this asshole, like I'm coming down on everybody in the IWC, but I'm just happy and thankful for fucking having this outlet as a podcaster and having this fan as a podcaster and like meeting like-minded people about the wrestling industry, because as I'm sure many of you came up with, wrestling did not always make you the most popular person. You know, there were some times when you're like, well, listen, we can throw down if you want, you know, but for real though, I'm really happy over these last it's been almost it's been almost 4 years.
You too, huh?
These last 3.5 years that I've been involved in the podcast world. You know, just to meet like-minded people and to be able to have these relationships. And, we have fam now all around the country and all around the world. And it's fantastic. And I love those relationships. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Love you, Teddy.
Love you, Ted.
I love you, Daddy Tom.
D-O-N.
Yeah.
Randy.
I'm thankful for a lot, man. In terms of professional wrestling, what's giving me. It's giving me, obviously as a kid when you was watching professional wrestling, it was like it wasn't a popular thing. But like again, like Ted said, like if you want to go outside for a couple minutes, I got you, stunner and all that, extra shit. Cause like I'll show you a sleeper, and it's like, oh, it's real. Tell them that's fake.
Oh, you think wrestling's fake? Let me put you through this table.
But over the last, I would say 8 years, and now over the last year in terms of podcasting, just being with with the brand has been it's been awesome. Just meeting people, and I kind of met my girlfriend here, so it's like by doing this, so it's kind of cool. Which at times during my Brawl talks have to hear from her a lot, but it's cool because I get a chance to meet like-minded people like yourselves and to brainstorm ideas, like especially when the pandemic was going and I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't working.
Yeah,
it was a great outlet for me to kind of just use something. Originally, more so to get my brother, who has a journalism major, to get him into podcasting again, because that's all he did when he was going for his master's at the time. And it became a hobby that I really, really enjoyed. And I met a lot of good people. And of course, with the Jobberteers, yourself, and, DIRTYHEELZ, and people that, West Coast based, or even, West Coast with Ivan, is the fact that wrestling, like music, like sport, like other sports, it's universal. It's the language. It doesn't have to be, local. Even if you go to your local indie place where it's House of Glory, which is basically in the hood, legit, where they do these shows at. And, it's universal. It's a universal language, just like everything else that you enjoy, whether it's leisure or you partake in, is universal. And I'm thankful for the fact that when done right, talking about wrestling and being invested in a product, no matter whatever your allegiances lie, fulfills that aspect of your day, because it's an escape from your normal 9 to 5, or if you're a teacher, from 7 a.m. to like 6 possibly. It's your escape because you get a chance to release. That's what these leisures are for. This is what these mediums are for. Sometimes we trivialize it. It's not the fact that we think that we know better. It's the fact that based off of our experiences and watching and the times that we've watched it, we know that these entities could do better. And I think I'm thankful in the fact that we're allowed to be in this medium to interview wrestlers, or to interview each other, or talk with each other, to have healthy dialogue about the industry as a whole is important. Because if you can have a conversation as a whole with something like this, regardless of our background, race, or creed, then talking about other things in a civil manner can actually happen. So that's what I take from, from all
which doesn't happen right now, man.
No, not much.
It doesn't happen right now.
Not much.
It's like if we can have a civil conversation with beer, like outside, I'm the only black guy in here. So it's like, at least for that standpoint, and we have black and brown in here, but at the same time, we can all have a good conversation about wrestling. It means that, just by that, that I'm not a kind of person that you can, stereotypically, typecast me in a certain way just by hearing me speak, or seeing me, whether it's at Legends or at wrestling functions. You can now establish a friendship with that person and have long-term bonds by digging beneath the surface a little bit and having different conversations that people necessarily don't want to have, but at the same time have to have these conversations, because as a society, we have to move forward. And through these mediums, we use it because it's a medium that we can basically meet in the middle and have something comparable to talk about, where it's not, we're not separating ourselves from each other because of what we are, who we are. So I'm very thankful in that retrospect in terms of what wrestling's been able to do for me and what it's able to do for everybody else in this panel. And I'm very, very glad that, you know, Ivan has been able to curate the league in a way he has as Professor X, and uniting the world together. Because like when you unite good people, that energy spreads, and when that energy spreads, you know, that becomes a powerful thing. Because when something powerful comes your way, it's hard to knock it down.
Absolutely. Great.
True.
Oh, man. You made me cry,
Big
man.
facts.
Fuck.
Big facts.
Right? Like,
Da-da-da-da. Yep, there you
it's
go.
allergies. I swear.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Psychos don't cry. Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of what this sport does, and how you put it right on point, Randy. Like, meet in the middle, from there get to know more. And that's how, you know, even though that's not about pro wrestling, but yes, I mean, society should be that way. You know, us leading that example, and people that are watching or who are not familiar with it, or who's learning about the sport, professional wrestling, could learn from this as well. Not just but wrestling, but as people, as human beings, how we are, you know, how we interact and how we, you know, we get along with each other, and you know, set that and lead that by example, and showing that we can all get along. And that's the beauty of it, what we do here in this podcast world. And like I said, I mean, I'm thankful for calling you, all of you guys, my family, because you guys are my family.
Oh,
You know,
we love you, Ivan. You know we love you, man. Why are you trying to make the psycho cry?
You make a grown man cry.
I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
Ready? Hold on. I can make Dom cry. Ready? CM Punk is fighting QT Marshall this week.
Damn it!
You should have said it when I took the shot at Terramana, damn it. Clearly, ain't nobody care about QT Marshall. Nobody care.
Ain't nobody care.
Ain't nobody care about no damn QT Marshall.
Not a goddamn one.
Not even QT Marshall cares about QT Marshall.
Facts.
Yo, the guy was introduced on my TV.
I got a story for you guys off.
Even QT's plugs don't want to stay in his head because they don't fucking care.
I was about to say, see, the thing about it is, I was referring to that. You beat me to the punch. I was about to say, I was introduced to QT Marshall, where, you know, when he was balding and he got a hairpiece, and look at him now, like Cody paid him extra to get a hairpiece and make him care on TV, and I still don't care about him on TV.
Yo, I got a story for you guys off air though, but it's got to be off air.
All right,
Okay.
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone that tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Dom didn't give what he's thankful
Dom
for.
didn't
get to
say
say
nothing.
Shit.
You just like straight up skip them.
Make the psycho cry and then just forget about
Don't worry,
it.
Dom. Don't worry, Dom.
Dom, thank you. Yeah, it's because I wanted to hear what. Yeah, my apologies. I apologize.
And he said,
DOM, I
and he
apologize.
says he loves you.
I do love
on
you,
Philly
though.
people. He's hating on the Philly people. God damn it.
Right?
Right? It's an East Coast versus West Coast thing right now.
I'm the
I
only
came
one.
from
Hey,
Philly and
I'm
I'm
the only
offended.
person here in the West
We
Coast.
got
What are you talking about?
Biggie. We got Biggie versus Tupac. Let's go, motherfucker.
Hey, I'm the only West Coast here, first of all.
Like Sting and
Yeah,
NWO.
you remember that shit. You remember that shit.
There's gonna be a Philly wolf pack up in here in a minute.
My apologies, brother. Yeah, you go. The floor is yours, Mr. DOM.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to step on you. I'm just saying, don't forget the psycho.
No, I know.
I know I'm forgettable. I get it.
You're not.
Grandma, I'm forgettable. But I'm sorry. Whew. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot to be thankful about that comes from pro wrestling. I know I talk a lot of shit, but I do this week in and week out, and I've been doing it for 2 years just with this show alone because there's so much to be thankful for. I'm just gonna go quick then, now, and forever. For starters, I love wrestling from when I was 5 years old, and I've been able to watch it evolve just throughout decades. Like through the 80s, the 90s, and today. And it has just been an amazing ride the entire time. Like from being 5 years old in a crowd watching a young Macho Man and a young $1 Million Man throw down to today, watching guys like Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. I absolutely adore that. I love, and I'm so thankful for the fact that pro wrestling basically created my marriage. like
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no! You can't leave us on this cliffhanger. There he is.
oh shit, sorry, my internet blinked. So as I was saying, am I back?
You're back.
Yes, you're back.
And better than ever.
Cool.
With
So
a
as I
You
was
still
saying,
look the same though.
I was at a friend's house and he kind of left me high and dry for a date while we were watching SmackDown, and I got up to leave, and his sister walked in and said, "Oh, you're watching SmackDown? Cool," and sat down. And I was like, "Okay." So we sat there for a couple hours. We talked. We did whatever. By the end of the night, I looked at her and I was like, "What are you doing Saturday?" And from there, that woman became my fiance, became my wife, the mother of my child. So we're thankful to pro wrestling forever. Nowadays, I'm thankful that basically, no matter what, I can come in and week out and have people like Grandma Wendy, who is, through her family has made me adopted Brown, like has my son calling her mom.
Dom's my family, man.
I got high class by me every week, and he's always backing me up, putting together rundowns, taking over hosting, doing whatever, trying to keep me going, even while I'm fighting through COVID. I've developed my own tiny little family through pro wrestling, and I will forever be thankful for that. And just sitting here with you guys, it is something to be thankful for, because when this all started, like, I had been on podcasts before. I'd never done them myself. I had no idea how to do them. And other people even people like Grandma Wendy are looking at me going, "What do I do?" And I'm like, you do this, I think. And from there, we all grew, we all learned, and we all got tight, and things just kept rolling. And it was a beautiful thing. And now, here we are in the league with Ivan and Anthony and Teddy and Randy and oh god, I mean, even the Dirty Heels, like I've been watching them guys forever, and all of a sudden I'm in a league with them. Nah, that can't be. Like, that can't be. They're too cool. Like, nah. So it's just, being where I'm at, it's like I'm still a fan from every direction, whether it's the stuff I'm watching on networks or it's the podcasts I'm watching on YouTube. I'm still a fan, and I'm in the midst of it. And I could not be more thankful to that, to Ivan, to the league in general. So thank you, everyone. I hope you have a tremendous Thanksgiving. And regardless of what you think or what you might hear, the Psycho loves you. And if anybody says any different, I'm going to get him.
That's right, because this is a DOM TV. That's right.
Yes. Even though he almost forgot about me, it's now my show. I'm just playing, bro.
That's one of the most amazing things about wrestling, though, how it brings people together. Like, yeah, you have people that are like going to argue about like their fandoms or their preferred wrestler, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I have made some of my closest friends through wrestling.
Yeah.
And I will always appreciate that about wrestling. And it brings people together in such a way. Like, my mom and I bond over wrestling. She's the one who got me into it. And like, we always bond over it. Wrestling brings people together, and it's fucking beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially when done right.
Goddamn wife out of it.
Yeah.
I got a third goddamn wife out of it. Now Ivan's over here calling himself my wrestling wife.
I lost two, but I got a third.
I lost two, but I got a third one. The third one's a
I got my shoot wife, I got my work wife, and now I've got a fucking wrestling wife. Like, god damn it.
That's a lot of wives, man. That's
Too
a lot
many
of people
fucking
to
women tell me
disappoint.
what the fuck
Damn,
to do.
Teddy got a harem.
She's over here yelling at me right now. Ivy is yelling at
I'm
me right
exhausted.
now. She's like, you're late for our meeting. I'm like, listen, I know, I got it. I'll be there. Just
Tell
fucking chill.
Ivy I said leave you alone.
And here I'm thinking open relationships was a bad thing.
Do you really
Three
want me to
wives.
say
That's
that,
just
dog?
three people. That's just three
Yes,
people to
the psycho
disappoint.
said leave him alone.
Damn.
She should have been here too.
Hold on. I got you.
Puts my open relationship to shit.
I told them that you're nagging me, and Dom says for you to leave me the fuck alone. I said that shit, brother. It's on.
I don't care.
Nagging. Oof.
She can at me all she wants.
Man, but you're right, Wendy. You're absolutely everybody here, man. Oh man, it's
Wow.
true.
Oh,
It's really, really true how the sport really brings everyone together, and
Yep.
it's a positive. For me, it's positive. It's like extremely positive. Like wow, even my wife is the same. It's like she never got into it. Now she is. I'm like, okay, what's that? What is this? What is this move called? And now I'm getting her more involved. And okay, now I see what you do. And now she hears everyone else's show. She's learning as
yeah.
was never a part of that. Now she's wants to be a part of the world, and then she's fascinated how the community is so big. I'm like, yes, you think basketball, baseball, hockey have that community? Yeah.
Wait till you see wrestling.
That's a whole different medium. And even till this day, my girl's still trying to like convert me to the fun side in AEW. I'm like, it's like, listen, man, listen, I love everybody, but if unless they do something definitively to say, all right, I'm gonna jump over, I'm on my side, okay? And that's fine.
If I want to watch gymnastics, I'll watch the Olympics. God damn it!
Fuck Eddie.
No, because I have a black and Mexican girlfriend. She's
Oh yeah, you can't say that shit. No, never mind. Fuck that.
No, you can't.
Watch yourself, son.
You can't say that.
Because
You
I can have this boldness next minute choppy, and I don't want that.
Bruh, you got yourself a Latina lady. She will not be your piece. She is Hispanic, and that's all there is to it.
You don't want to fuck around and become the next Val Venus.
She's not his piece.
You don't want to do that.
She's not his piece. She is Hispanic. That is all.
Yeah, that's a hit.
As a Latina woman, trust. I know.
You went there, bro.
Necessary.
You went there.
No.
She does not want peace. She wants problems. Always.
Yeah.
She's addicted to drama.
But
it's so funny because like my wife is the shyest person, but if I tell her like I'm gonna do a wrestling podcast or I'm gonna do a watch along and I don't have anybody, she's like, oh come on. It'll even break her out of her shell. Like Wendy's met her, she's just when she first meets you, she's just sitting there all hi.
Yeah.
You know. And you gotta get through the shell, but like you say pro wrestling and she's just like, I'm in.
That's awesome, man. But
yeah.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we want to go ahead and thank everyone here, my family, the League of Extraordinary Podcast, for doing this special Thanksgiving special episode that will be airing. We'll be seeing it, obviously, and listening to it. Don't forget to subscribe to everyone else's channel, which I'm going to allow them to go ahead and plug. So, Grandma Wendy, Mr. DOM, where can they find Top Rope Wrestling Talk?
Socials first or podcast? How do you want to do it? Who goes first? You or me?
I'll do socials. You do podcasts, and then we'll throw.
Looking on the fly here.
Okay. All right. So podcast wise, you can find us on anchor.fm/TRWT. From there, you can find us wherever podcasts are distributed. So you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, everywhere. Wherever podcasts are sold. Lols. And you can also find us on the YouTubes. Top Rope Wrestling Talk (parentheses) a Foxton Joan JAWN for you non-Philly folk.
Yep.
And you can see all of our pretty little faces on there, and then go get your eyes checked and realize they're quite beautiful.
We're not that
faces.
pretty.
They're not that pretty. They're quite beautiful, actually. We have some.
Especially
Gorgeous.
Bruce
And that beard.
That majestic beard, y'all.
I can't compete with that beard. I'm
Looking
just
like a garden gnome on steroids.
Right? Beard, man.
And we love them.
Dom, socials, take it away.
Yes. You can find us on Twitter at Top Rope WT. You can find us on Facebook. We have a podcast page and a group. Just search for Top Rope Wrestling Talk. Like one, invite yourself to the other. They're both a ball. You can find us on Instagram, and I'm blaming Wendy for this because she's taking it now. She's petty like that.
All me.
At top_rope_wrestling_talk. And if you have the spare money, and I know you do out there because everybody does, we have some wonderful merch. We've got lovely coffee mugs like this one here and a few others. We got some tumblers, we got some beach towels, we got everything under the sun, including these lovely TRWT shirts. And you can find them all at trwtmerch.threadless.com.
Awesome. The description will be right below for everyone who wants to purchase your merchandise, especially because I want to buy it.
Use your Christmas bonuses to buy yourself a beautiful shower curtain with our fucking faces on it.
Get yourself a nice fleece blanket, or ladies, if you want some leggings with TRWT on them, maybe our faces on the ass, you know.
Do it.
All right.
Ain't nothing better than having a psycho on your ass. That's all I'm saying.
That could be taken so many
Oh
ways.
shit! And one more thing. I gotta give a huge shout out to our guest last night, the Blade Bandit, because apparently he just won the Vacation Pro Intercontinental Championship tonight.
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about. Way to go, Blade.
Awesome.
We're gonna get you back on the show with the belt. We need a legitimate one.
Hollywood, where can they find the Titantron and the classic match classroom?
Well, first, I want to plug the other shows that I do because they are doing some amazing stuff. First of all, I don't know if anyone saw, I don't think you did the way it's angled, but I'm wearing a Turnbuckle Tavern t-shirt. These guys are amazing. They are doing some of the best podcast work. They do basically episodes every day of the week except for Sundays for some reason. We don't have a show on Sundays. I don't know why. But all of them, Chad, Sneed, all of them, Chad, Sneed, Mike, Tom, J-Bone, all of us are doing some amazing stuff. So definitely check out Turnbuckle Tavern. Also, the new podcast that I'm doing, Classic Match Classroom. It's myself and Tyler from Count It Out. He also says hello to everyone. We review classic matches because I'm young and I have not seen anything. So he shows me all the greatest matches of all time, and we talk about them. We're currently on hiatus because we're work and school. It's crazy, but all the links will be in the description to check out the 10 episodes or the 11 episodes that we have already done. And you can follow us on Twitter at CM Classroom, on Instagram at Classic Match Classroom. And yeah, check us out on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. And finally, for the podcast that I actually own, I would like to plug it, but there is another friend of mine who would rather do so. So I will introduce him real quick, and whatever he says from here on out, I do not co-sign. So just, I'm sorry. So here we go.
Oh shit.
All right, I'm back. So before I plug my amazing podcast, I would like to first say what I'm thankful for, since nobody fucking asked. I would like to say that I am very thankful for the WWE, Kevin Dunn, Johnny Ace, Vince McMahon.
Mute him.
All of the gods of professional wrestling.
Mute him
I would also
now.
like to say that I'm thankful for none of you because you are all not on the level of Hollywood. We're in Philly. We're in, the West Coast. This is all
I've been out the
great
gutter for a
stuff.
long time, homie.
But I am in the greatest place to be in the United States, Hollywood, with these sunglasses. When the lay is on, you know what's going down. So I would like to go ahead and plug my amazing podcast of the Titantron. You can go ahead and find me at the Titantron Podcast on Instagram, at _Titantron on Twitter. You can listen to my amazing voice on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere that you could find your podcast. And you can also look at this beautiful, handsome, shining, young face, something that is much needed in this group of old men. You can find my young, amazing face on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. I'm on the road to 200 subscribers, and I know that we could get there very, very soon. So, although I would like to say that I'm very thankful to be on the show, I would like to end off by saying thanks for having me bring up your subscribers and your views, and ultimately, you're welcome.
Yeah. Back to your mother's basement.
Tony, you're grounded. You don't get an allowance this week. Shut the fuck up. All right.
Whoa. What happened? I don't know what he said. I'm sorry.
The faces of Tony happen.
The faces of Tony happened.
I'm very sorry for that. But again, thank you. I don't know what he said. I don't even want to know. But thank you for having us on. And I can't wait to do another one of these in the future. It's always a great time with you guys.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
a Christmas one is coming. A Christmas special.
Hell yeah. I'm all down for it.
Yes. All right, Ted. Where can they find Rewind Wrestling Network?
All right, so my friends, you can search for us on YouTube. Please remember to go give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We want to get your subscription in there. You can find us at Rewind Wrestling Network. You spell that WREWIND. Okay. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rewind Podcast, WREWIND PODCAST. Please make sure to go over and grab our merch at whatamaneuver.net. Go search for the Rewind Wrestling store. And we want to definitely make sure that you go over and check out Coastal Championship Wrestling, our partners in crime over there. Make sure you check them out at ccwrestlingfl.com. Check out their events page, get your tickets because that shit is flying fast and they constantly have people in there. Brian Cage, they've got QT Marshall if you want to go and heckle them.
Ain't nobody care.
Nobody care.
I set you up for success, brother.
High class cares. He got tickets.
I mean, how about QT though?
The
QT,
whole nine
yeah.
yards, they've got just so much talent in that locker room. They do such great shit. You can go over and tell Ref Amy that she's thick as fuck while she's in there reffing the matches, and and she'll enjoy the shit out of that. So, my friends, go and check out Coastal Championship Wrestling and go subscribe and follow us on social media. Again, that's Rewind Podcast, WREWIND.
Awesome. Hell, that's awesome. And of course, Mr. Brawler. That likes to brawl backstage.
Randy.
Fine, backstage brawl.
First of all, you can find the People's Champion at the Backstage Brawl on Facebook. You can also find him on the Backstage Brawl on YouTube, Backstage_Brawl on Twitter, Backstage Brawl on Instagram. You can find us on Anchor FM. You can find us on Radio Public. We're on every other streaming on audio podcast except for Apple Podcasts. You can follow us up on Twitter. We're on Facebook. My boy Mean Genie does the Facebook page. When I have the time, I'm on Twitter and on Facebook when I do have the time between my teaching schedule. Shout out to Mean Gene who does the Facebook. Shout out to E. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to Jay, who's basically the producer and editor in chief. I'm the one that just basically writes up all the episodes. But yeah, man, it's been a beautiful grind where you can find us, because we are the fantasy booking extraordinaires. If you want some fantasy booking, look no further than the Backstage Brawl. So you can find it there, and you can catch us tomorrow at whenever Eric decides to wake up on time, where we do Brawl Talk Live on Sunday. We
love that
on Sunday tomorrow. Don't know what the topic of discussion is going to be. I got to talk to my tag team partner about that. Anybody can pull up at any time, and come through and whatnot. Ivan's been on the show a few times and plugging his stuff. We had conversations. I think the last time Ivan was on, actually, we were talking about the AAA situation down there and how, they fucked up on, AEW, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, you can definitely join us if you want, I'll respond when I can. I'm looking forward to podcasting again soon, and hopefully before 2021 ends, I'd like to get on at least each one of your podcasts, especially Anthony's, because I've been talking about it for so long. So
hell yeah, bro.
And in the words of LeBron James, it's about damn time. So I need to get on some of y'all podcasts.
About damn time.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. And there you go. And of course, you can find Circle Debate on YouTube, Twitter at Circle Debate, Instagram at Circle Debate, Facebook at Circle Debate, and our YouTube channel. All the audio platforms that you can go to if you listen to us: Spotify, Podbean, Bullhorn, Apple Podcasts, Bang. And also don't forget to follow the rest of the League of the Story podcast. They are right behind me right here. You see Dirty Heels, you see Joke in the Ring, you see Quart Street, you see the Universal Wrestling Podcast, the Call Up. There's more behind me here.
Yeah.
There you go. Championship on the line is, of course, Straight Talk Wrestling, Ring Fanatics, Countered Out, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yes.
You even got Nick from Universal Wrestling Podcast and I doing a sports show now every week. So
yes.
Love it, by the way.
I love it, bro.
Good one. I love it.
I love it, man. We be tri-state two-stepping every week.
I'd be remiss if I didn't get this plug in. Shout out to Queen K with Wrestling News.
Oh, and that's our new member, actually.
New member.
Yeah. So
Queen
yeah,
I
and
love her.
She started
love
her
that.
YouTube page, Queen K of the Fun Side on YouTube. Please subscribe because there'll be some fun debauchery going on that page in terms of wrestling and AEW and all stuff.
Yeah.
Ratchet.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for the
Can't wait.
special. This special will be good. But yes,
Yes.
all of us here, ladies and gentlemen, we once again thank you all for tuning in, for listening. And we all here from the League of Extraordinary Podcast, all of you guys for watching or listening, a happy Thanksgiving, a happy holidays, and enjoy. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Gobble gobble.